Okay, good afternoon everyone. So at this time, we will tackle about mathematics 10. This is all about finding the zeros of polynomial functions. Okay, so actually in finding the zeros of the polynomial functions, a lot of ways for which we can apply for us to obtain the zeros, no? The zeros of the polynomial function. First, like for example in number 1, remember in this polynomial, all the terms has x variable. So it is very easy for us to identify the zeros because we can make use of the removing of common polynomial factor. But for number 2, okay, we will do different ways from number 1 and number 2 because in this part, for number 2, there is a constant in the last term, which is negative 12. So in this part, in this problem for number 2 or polynomial, we will have to factor, okay, we will have to factor the last term, which is the negative 12. So, kita na ito yung mga factor anak. Okay? So, we will have now, the first example, f of x is equal to, okay, for number 1. As I've said a while ago that for number 1, we can make use actually of the removing common polynomial factor because each term has x variable. So, but before that, we will have to let f of x be equal to 0. Like writing this one, we know that f of x is equal to 0. So we have here x cubed plus 3x squared plus 2x is equal to 0. Okay, because we let f of x be equal to 0. Next, using removing common polynomial factor, we have here x cubed divided by x is x squared. 3x squared divided by x is 3x plus 2x divided by x is 2. And this one is actually quadratic function. So we can use factoring using 2 binomial factor. So we have x times the quantity. Okay, we have here x squared is actually that is x times x. Then the factor of 2 is 1 times 2. Okay, they are all positive. So we have here positive and positive. Okay, so at this time we can now let this one as our x1, x2, and x3. So we have here x1 is equal to 0. Next, this will be our x2 plus 1 is equal to 0. x2 now is equal to negative 1. Third, this will be our x of 3. X of 3 now plus 2 is equal to 0. X3 now is equal to negative 2. So these are the zeros of this given polynomial function. We have 0, negative 1, and negative 2. Okay, let us proceed with function for number 2. Okay, we have p of x. This one for number 2, p of x is equal to x cubed plus 3x squared, okay, minus 4x minus 12. Okay, this part, there is a constant in the last part. Okay, mas dali po actually sa kuha because in the first term, okay, the numerical coefficient for the first term is only 1. Okay, so mas dali siya. What we're going to do is, we have to get the factor of negative 12 directly so that from those factors, we can use that one as our value of x and we will have to plug that one in the given polynomial. Pag ma-zero sa polynomial yun, it means that that value is one of those zeros of the given polynomial function. Okay? So we have here, okay, solution for number 2. Okay? Let, okay, for factors, no? Factors of negative 12 is actually equal to, we have here, we can have negative 2 and 6. We can also have negative 3 and positive 4. We can also have factor of 12 which is what? Negative 1 and times 12. Okay? So we can have, or we can use this one as our x value. Each factor, we can use that one to verify. Okay, example, if x is equal to negative 2. Like for example, this one. Using this one, we have here p of negative 2 is equal to negative 2 to the power of 3 plus 3 times x, we have here negative 2 to the power of 2 minus 4 times the value of x, which is negative 2, okay, minus 12. Therefore, p of negative 2 is equal to negative 2 to the power of 3 is negative 8. Okay? We have 3 plus 3 times negative 2 to the power of 2 is positive 4 minus, okay, we have here negative times negative is positive. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay? Next is minus 12. Okay, combine na to. Negative 8 and negative 12 is negative 20. 3 times 4, we have 12 plus 8 minus negative 8 and negative 12 is negative 20. We have here 20 minus 20. Therefore, p of 2, negative 2 is equal to 0. Okay, it means that one of the values or one of the zeros of the function x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x minus 12 is negative 2. Okay, so we already identified that with x is negative 2, okay, the function will become 0. So this is one of the zeros of the given function. Okay, so at this moment we already identified the first value of x, which is negative 2. Okay, so we can erase this one for the next value. Okay, from this given polynomial actually, okay, because we already identified that x is equal to negative 2, at this time we can now let p of x be equal to, okay, we can now make use of the synthetic division. No? We know that x is equal to negative 2. Therefore, we can write that one actually as x, okay, x plus 2 is equal to 0. If you want to use long method of division. But for this time, we will have to use synthetic division for the given polynomial. Sige, synthetic automaton. We will not be using this one, but we will have to use the value of x, which is negative 2. Okay? Using synthetic division, SD. Both pasabot sa SD, synthetic division. Okay? So, let us now identify the coefficient of each term of this given polynomial. Yung value dito kay 1. Okay? 1. Dito is 3. Next is negative 4. Next is negative 12. Okay, this one we will have to put this one into the box. Okay, we have negative 2. Then, after that, bring down positive 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Then 3 plus negative 2 is 1. Okay. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Negative 4 and negative 2 is negative 6. Okay. Next, negative 6 and times negative 2 is what? Positive 12. This one is 0. Okay. And remember, this is x and this is x cubed. Okay. Remember, x cubed and x, if we are going to divide x cubed, divide x, the result is x squared. So the first term is x squared, no? This one is x squared, plus, followed by x squared is x, minus 6 equals 0. 0 plus, no? But this is not actually, it means that pag 0 to 0 ulit, pwede, no? Okay, wala na ito na i-apply sila sa 0 actually. So x squared plus x minus 6 is equal to 0. The remaining function. Okay, so therefore, from this given function, this is now, that is, from this given function, that ingani na siya ma-form to, no? Because we use this one, the x plus 2, so it is, in fact, if we're going to use factor 4, we have x plus 2 times, we have here x squared plus x, okay, minus 6 equals 0. Okay? Kinakuha naman na ito, no? So, pag multiply mo tanan, no? That, balik na rin yung function, x cubed plus 3x squared minus 4x minus 12. Okay? Then this one is actually factorable. Okay, using two binomial factors, we have x plus 2 times, okay, the factor for that one, for this function is we have x times x, then we have 2 times 3 as a factor of 6. Remember, this one is positive. Okay, positive si middle term. So therefore, the bigger number between this 2 and 3 must have a sign which is positive. So basta po man si 3, so positive, 3 ang negative. Because negative 2 plus positive 3 is 1, and this is now the middle term. Okay? Negative 2 times positive 3 is negative 6. So we can equate the first one, or we can have, this will be our x1, x2, and x3. So we have here, x1 plus 2 is equal to 0. x1 now is equal to negative 2, but we already identified that one here. Next, we have here x2 minus 2 is equal to 0. x2 now is equal to positive 2. Okay? Last, we have here, we left that one as x of 3 plus 3 is equal to 0. x3 now is equal to negative 3. Therefore, okay, therefore, the zeros of these given functions are, we have negative 2, positive 2, and negative 3. So I hope that this video will help you in answering maybe your activity especially in finding the zeros of the given, or finding the zeros of the polynomial function. Okay, so you can make use of this concept, the synthetic division, or if you prefer to use long division, you can use long division, and still you can write the same answer as this one. Balag mo bali-bali, balag mo sa exam training mo. Basta as long as you have the same value, negative 2, 2, and negative